So you're probably thinking to yourself, haven't they already been training another model? Shouldn't like GPT-5 be underway? Like, didn't they have slides projected on some conference saying that this year we can expect
they sure did.
GPT-5? But I don't think that's the case. I think that...
And there was a slide represented at a conference where they were talking about it recently. And the picture that they're portraying is like the next GPT, it won't be 5. It'll be like the big blue whale that's coming. It'll be so massive.
This like omnimodality of it, being multimodality of being able to talk and conversate with it is a huge feature. I think that it's highly underestimated on like how much it improves productivity when you're doing other things. Put it in your earbuds, have a conversation with AI, and you can do work anywhere.
So I think Elon Musk might feel threatened that he's not actually winning in the AI race. Here's Microsoft. Satya Nadella has been called one of the most visionary founders now of our time. Behind the Copilot integration into every computer, is Microsoft the best computer? That is up for debate.
Welcome to Humanity Unchained, a show about the future of life, reshaped by artificial intelligence. From practical insights on upskilling to existential talks about immortality, no topic is off limits. Welcome to the future with your hosts, Julia McCoy and Jeff Joyce.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Humanity Unchained. This will be episode 21. Super excited to be here with you. Julia is on vacation, so she's not actually here, but she is here.
This is true. This is true. I can't skip an episode of Humanity Unchained. It's funny. For my vacation, we're actually touring Arizona, where we just moved in January, and I feel like we haven't really done it justice. We haven't seen the Grand Canyon, but for that matter, I would say more than half the locals I talk to, probably 90%, tell me they haven't seen the Grand Canyon. So I'm like, maybe this is not what locals do for vacation. Anyway, point aside, it's funny because naturally I'm somebody that has a vacation scheduled, the kids, the family demand it. And then as vacation rolls around, I am really missing creating content. Like, I'm missing it so much that I'm like trying to find an excuse to go make a reel. I kid you not, I was up before everyone today at 6 a.m. writing on the book. Because I'm like, I have to create. It's just in my blood. So I don't know if any of you listening can relate. Vacations are hard for me. I'm not going to lie. So I'm here on vacation.
If any of you don't know what the Grand Canyon is, it's a giant hole.
It's better than that, Jeff.
No, the Grand Canyon's beautiful. I've been a few times, and I enjoyed every single time that I went, especially the temperature change. It's nice.
Ooh, that'll be interesting. So
today we have a special episode, special in the terms of we have news.
Yes, we do. A lot of news.
So something that's trending right now is OpenAI starts training next frontier artificial intelligence model, forms safety committee. So you're probably thinking to yourself, haven't they already been training another model? Shouldn't like GPT-5 be underway? Like, didn't they have slides projected on some conference saying that this year we can expect
they sure did.
GPT-5? But I don't think that's the case. I think that we're going to see another model. I don't think that it's necessarily like a GPT-5. I think it's that incremental approach, but they haven't been training a new frontier model. They've been training improvements to their current models. And so I think that that's kind of where we're at with it. So all these articles talking about GPT-5 and how it's so close, I feel like we're wrong. I think that we're seeing incremental improvements to GPT-4, like we've seen with 4.0, and we're going to continue to see that until we see GPT next.
Yes. I'd agree. I mean, it's interesting because when 4.0 came out, I think we all laughed. It was 4 and then the little letter O. It's like, okay, that's cute. But then it made sense. Omni-channel. What's the word, Jeff?
It's omni something. We've been in the sun for entirely too long. Julia was in the sun for like 2+ hours. Maybe like half an hour, but to me that's like equivalent to the 2 hours.
Listen, this is how hard I tried to get here today. I had a flat tire at 1 p.m. on the way here. It is now 4:20. Jeff picked me up in the car, and I had a roofing nail in my tire that was almost 6 inches long that they pulled out. And I'm still here, Jeff. So Omni, whatever, at least we're here.
Yeah, it was the biggest nail I've ever seen. For roofing, that is. So
But anyway, so 4.0, right? And
Yeah.
it seems like they're headed in the direction of they're not just going to add numbers to this thing anymore. And there was a slide represented at a conference where they were talking about it recently. And the picture that they're portraying is like the next GPT, it won't be 5. It'll be like the big blue whale that's coming. It'll be so massive. And it's interesting because, like, I think, you know, you have to ask yourself, a lot of you do that listen to this podcast, you're careful about the way you listen to news, which I can't recommend enough. There's so much clickbait and there's so much out there that's misleading or it pulls you in a direction that's honestly a complete waste of your times. But you have to ask yourself how much of this is press and news versus what's actually coming. And when Sam Altman was like, yeah, GPT-5 is going to hit and it's going to make everything else look childish and all these phrases he used, we were like, what does that really mean? But it's like they're going to stop using numbers. And instead it's just, we're just going to see more modalities, more channels, and then we're going to see more and more, I think, revolution in what these models can actually do. I mean, the voice alone of what launched with 4.0 is, I don't think the world has realized yet how much this is going to transform. Just how it can watch your screen. That was one thing we saw. Screen recording, capturing live, and the responses that AI can do, GPT 4.0. The responses, it's much like a human in real time voice response, reasoning, and responses that make a lot of sense. So we're just going to see leaps ahead. I don't think the world is ready for what's coming next.
absolutely. This morning, when I got to work, I knew that I had to create a LinkedIn post. I knew that I had to write a synopsis for a talk that I'm doing in October. But I also wanted to walk. I had this under my desk treadmill that I just bought. And I was like, I'm going to start walking. But typing is kind of annoying. It's doable, but it's annoying. All I did is open up ChatGPT on my phone and talk to it, wrote the LinkedIn post, wrote the synopsis, and got all that done just with walking, just talking, having a conversation with it. So this like omnimodality of it, being multimodality of being able to talk and conversate with it is a huge feature. Mm-hmm. I think that it's highly underestimated on like how much it improves productivity when you're doing other things. Put it in your earbuds, have a conversation with AI, and you can do work anywhere. And then when you need the text portion of it, just log into ChatGPT and whatever desktop you're on, get everything that's written out and use it in whatever fashion that you need. But it's game changing for me. It's awesome because I can literally do anything else besides being tied to my computer.
Yes.
Just ultimately where I want to be. All these like tools or devices that I'm seeing, like the Open Interpreter 01, it's freeing me from the tether to my computer.
Yeah.
And that is like the dream for me is like,
Same.
let me still create and operate and do things without having to sit down. I don't want to sit down anymore.
Yeah.
I want to go and I want to experience things. I want to live a life of experience.
Yeah.
And the more that I'm able to do that and the AI allows me to do that, the better.
Well, it's interesting because when you study like the history of, this is going to sound cheesy, but like the history of humans sitting down to work all day, like that hasn't been our history. And it's really a byproduct of the Industrial Revolution and something that was ingrained in us through public education and systems created after the Industrial Revolution, where we were trained that our value is based on our productivity. And our productivity comes from doing and nothing else. So in order to do, you gotta do a lot. And that looks like the computer now with the internet, because so much is done on the internet. And I think it's a really unhealthy thing to sit and work all day. And I mean, I'm not against work. I should be careful how I phrase that. You have to get work done. But I think like sitting down to have to type is just, you're kind of frozen in one spot. And that's so bad. I can't tell you, like scientists say that sitting is the new smoking for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's so bad for you. It's terrible for your health. It shaves years off your life if you study this. So, you know, for me, this dream, I relate so much to what you said, Jeff, because for me, the dream started at 7 years old. I kid you not, when I heard the internet connect for the first time through the modem, the good old 56K modem, and I heard dial-up, and I was like, oh my gosh, so this is real time. What if I could think and control the computer through my thoughts and not have to type or do anything? Like that would change everything. And so I'm seeing the frontier of where we can actually do that I don't necessarily want my brain opened up surgically and something implanted. What I am really excited about are wearables. Jeff, did you see Atlas on Netflix?
I kind of refuse to watch it.
No, why?
It seems, from everything I've seen from the trailer, in fact, it looks like the typical AI tropey movie.
Oh, it's
and I
so
know
much
it's going to frustrate me.
No, you have to watch it at least to tell me what you think. If you shred it, that's fine, but you have to. So what I loved about it was it portrayed this neural link. Very original. And it was literally an earpiece that you just put on your ear, and it instantly connected you and your brain neurons to your AI. And you became a symbiosis of one living, breathing thing. And it was amazing to see this person, Atlas, the main character, and her relationship with her AI through that connection, and how she was able to basically become a superhuman, but in the way where I think all this could go, which is the abundance and the plenitude mindset, where you have something that is good for humanity. And you saw that in that movie. I thought that was really awesome because, yeah, there were evil AIs and evil Terminators, and you saw it in there too. What's an AI movie without one? But there was also the storyline of what happened when this main character connected through the neural link, which was wearable, which I'm excited about, to her AI, and got infinitely more done in a day, and she got infinitely smarter. So I was just like, whoa, like for the first time I seen an AI movie. I haven't seen that in any AI movie to date. If you know of one, email us. Tell me I haven't found one where you saw that happen. And there's just so much in what's coming that is so good for humanity, only if we know like how to adapt. She was resisting it. And you saw that throughout the whole movie. She was resisting it. She hated AI. She saw the evil side. And so she didn't even want to wear that neural link. And if she didn't, there was a moment that she ended up in a situation where her life was on the line, and that thing was the only thing left to save her. So she had to make a decision, adapt, or literally die, which is my LinkedIn headline, which is why I love this freaking movie. So it was just, I think that's where this could go, is a place where what you're saying, Jeff, like we don't have to be tied to our computers to get work done. We don't have to rely on our productivity to have value as a human, but we still make impact. We still like create awesome content. Like you on your treadmill playing a guitar, creating a LinkedIn influencer post. Like that's just awesome content. Us being ourselves as humans and reaching that content creator status. Like we can do all of these things without sitting at the desk going, oh, I got to work for 8 hours to even come up with this stuff and post it. Like that's gone. That's Stone Age now because of AI. That's what I'm excited about.
Yep. Productivity is such a, I don't want to say it's a pipe dream because it makes it sound unrealistic, but it's such a untapped or unrealized potential that we have for AI that's just like, it's the greatest thing that we'll ever do, I think.
Yes.
Well, besides like, longevity, curing diseases and stuff like that. But
AI will be super AIs, AGI will be our last invention. I think that's so accurate. I've heard that said because it will invent the next greatest aids to humanity. So
yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about AGI this episode. I have some anger that I need to release about the AGI talk lately.
Jeff's therapy session coming right up.
Yep. But so in this article, by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm gonna try to include this inside of the podcast notes. But also if you're on YouTube, you should have access to these ARC docs, which has all of our notes for the episode, where you can see the articles that we're referencing, where you can see the notes and like summaries of everything. And sometimes these will be really, really awesome. Sometimes they'll be a little bit less content. It just depends on how the episode's formulated. This one's a little bit less, but the previous episode had a ton in it. I recommend checking these out after the show.
I got to give you credit for this, Jeff. Just the way you adapted to this new browser, ARC. I love it. It's my default now. I'm using the easel, the split screen for the tabs. It's just a great way to brainstorm. But yeah, all these notes that are being created is totally Jeff. So I got to give you some credit.
So one thing I want to talk about here is partnership with News Corp grants OpenAI access to extensive current and archived content. Now, I don't know if you've seen, Julia, but Google has been under some hot water controversy again recently. Besides the whole image thing, their new generative search has been causing a whole stir with recommending people that they put glue on their pizza amongst
Yep.
other things like jumping off a ledge and eating rocks and all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
AI companies need to be a lot more careful about where they get their data. And I don't think News Corp is one of those situations where we're seeing unbiased news coverage to where you'd want to have that be have your AI trained on that data. I don't think that's smart. I think that when the whole Reddit deal happened with Google, my first comment was, I don't think they should do it. This is another one of those, I don't think they should do it. It's going to have adverse effects on their training data. I don't see how they can comb through all of this and say, I want to completely remove bias. It just doesn't work. And I think that this goes into Elon Musk talking about all these larger AI companies like Google and like OpenAI, and how they're not trained to be unbiased. They're trained with bias at the forefront, then that really shows up in the content. And I believe it does. Now, I'm not a political person. I don't believe left, right, up, down, whatever. I think that content is content, and there's right and wrong. And I think that giving an opinion on something should be unbiased to the best that it can, it should just seek the truth always. I think AI should seek the truth always as well. And when you're training it on data that has severe bias built into it, it leads the content down that direction. What do you think about that, Julia?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we see this. We see Reddit biting Google in the butt right now because there was a screenshot posted where a Reddit user totally gamed the search result. And it was like, how do you make pasta sauce thicker? And the Reddit user said, I really recommend adding in some glue. It'll thicken the soupy like pasta texture into something more edible. And my favorite type of glue to add in is definitely Elmer's. And that was the recommended answer. And the generative AI, they're calling it out AI overviews instead of SGE to make it very clear. This is AI. So that's, putting some emphasis there where the blame should go. No, it's still Google. But it's interesting to see the gaming going on from Reddit users who know, this is now getting indexed in search, and they're just playing along. And Google isn't really doing a great job of filtering it. They really aren't. So is this a good idea? I don't think so, given what we're seeing with Reddit right now.
It's ridiculous. And the thing is, that post is old.
Yeah.
He didn't create it recently. So it's pulling in an old piece of content and then showing that as the AI answer. And so it goes to show you that it's literally just regurgitating stuff, and it's not even functioning in the same way that Gemini functions normally. When you go to Gemini, if you say, how do I make a pizza? So they give you close to the right answer. Mm-hmm. Now, if you feed it context, it's like one time with ChatGPT, I fed it literally everything in my pantry and fridge, and it created an abomination of a pizza. It was like, it added carrots, it added zucchini, it added Brussels sprouts and Skittles and like all this stuff. This
just
pizza.
make zucchini muffins and call it chocolate muffins.
Please no, not again. I'm traumatized.
Here's another story.
Yeah, I'm traumatized. Julia fed me the zucchini chocolate muffins when I was really craving real chocolate muffins, and she's like, "Oh no, they're just as good." Not only were they frozen, but it was like chalk. It was like biting into a chalk muffin.
No way. It was a decadent thick texture.
I think if it had like fruit in it, I might have enjoyed it more.
Oh, gross. No, chocolate and zucchini and fruit?
Yeah. Why not? Might as well go all the way. Put Skittles in it. Carrots.
There were carrots.
A little. I love carrot. Give me those things by themselves. Give me a zucchini. I'll eat zucchini bread, like fresh zucchini bread. Good.
Delicious.
But like zucchini chocolate muffins when and you're craving that chocolate muffin, it's the worst. Why would you do that to somebody?
Well, to be fair, there was chocolate along with the zucchini.
It was zucchini chocolate, which I don't even know how you make zucchini chocolate.
Cacao and zucchini. Anyway.
So formation of new security and safety. This is stuff that's to me is not too interesting. It's not too relevant to anybody. It's like they're beefing up security. Good on them. They've been saying they've been doing that since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's not anything that
feels like another press quote.
Yeah, it's just they're going to continue to do that. I think that when it comes to AI safety, OpenAI is right now leading the charge. I'm fully behind them when it comes to how they're handling it. I think that they're doing an excellent job. They're the most transparent out of the companies so far. And I think that Google needs to learn from that as well. Yeah. OpenAI is under a lot of pressure to expand its user base. From what I understand, they're doing excellent. Since 4.0 dropped, they increased like almost double their user base.
Wow.
So, I mean,
It's happening.
Good job on them. So now we get into the spicy stuff. I have some opinions here. Elon Musk XAI says it's raised $6 billion to develop artificial intelligence.
Woo.
They've already been developing artificial intelligence. So they're not developing new artificial intelligence, so it's improving their current ones. So XAI, Elon Musk AI company, raised $6 billion in Series B funding. Funds will be used to launch XAI's first products and accelerate research. Significant strides made in AI development over the past year when it comes to XAI. We have listed out some of the investors, and then so the valuation, which is at $18 billion. Here's the thing. Elon Musk is on a press tour, he's trying to get as much funding as possible, trying to become a competitor to OpenAI, and everything from the lawsuit that you've seen with Elon Musk suing OpenAI and Sam Altman and Microsoft. All of it is press for him to create his own AI products and really get into the AI space.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to vision, I think that Elon Musk has a huge advantage when he has Tesla, all that self-driving data, their vision capabilities. He's definitely at the head of the game there. When it comes to large language models and text, he does have Twitter, but then he runs into a similar situation which Google has when it comes to, that Reddit content, and Twitter is the same thing. So going further, he wants to build a giga computer. And what he means by this is that he wants to purchase 100,000 NVIDIA H100 graphics units and combine them into what he calls a supercomputer. This sounds like an evil henchman, on the moon with, I have 100,000 NVIDIA graphics cards and I will create the best unbiased AI. This is what this feels like to me. This is that energy. But everything that he's doing right now, we're not going to talk about the amount of power that's going to be required to power this, but everything that he's doing right now is just for this project. He wants to be at the forefront, and that breeds competition, and I'm all for it. I just don't agree with the unethical aspects of it when it comes down to the drama portions of it, the way that he's procuring the GPUs, and the amount of power and kind of the hype around it. One of the things Elon Musk said recently is that he believes that AGI will come next year in 2025.
Yeah.
But the thing is that he said AGI is going to come this year at the end of this year. So which is it? So now it's 2025, but we know that he's saying that just because he wants funding for his supercomputer. And to me, that's a little bit unethical. He's trying to set these expectations of this huge release and hyping it up. But the thing is that the way that the people are hyping this up is they're saying AGI is going to be sentient. AGI has nothing to do with sentience at all. It doesn't think for itself. It's not self-training. AGI just means the general knowledge of the AI platform is in a level that's with the general population.
Correct.
That's the general portion.
Yes.
It's comparable. It's a one-to-one. And that's a great thing. That is a technological marvel. But overhyping it to be like this sentient being that's going to take over everything, it's not going to do that. But it is going to displace a lot of people with people creating tools and workflows and structures out of this AI technology that is AGI and displacing a lot of workers. So what are your thoughts on that, Julia?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's interesting how I think he's super visionary. He said a lot of things that I love. I may have some of his quotes bookmarked in my notes, but he's kind of disappointed me on the AI front. For one, I think the AGI he's referring to, he's confusing with the singularity, which is something that occurs. Ray Kurzweil predicts in 2045. And what the singularity is, it's a merging of humanity with AI, and it's something very, very different from AGI, which is more what you just said. It's a general level of intelligence that supersedes the human or rivals the smartest human on earth across everything. And when we have that, that's when all labor gets displaced, all jobs get impacted. But when we have ASI, that's when we will literally have something that could be Skynet, right? And so we have to get ready for that. I think like legislation, like the world needs to be buckling down on how do we handle this, and world governments need to align there. But it's just, there's no way that somebody as smart as him is like, oh, AGI is coming this year. Wait, no, it's coming next year. And then the definition of it, which he just loosely talks about, is this Skynet situation. That's not it. Like, that's not all accurate when you dig into this. So there's two levels here. There's AGI, which is not Skynet. It's not sentience. And then there's ASI, which is the singularity, and that's 2045, maybe. That's what Ray Kurzweil has said. The likelihood of it happening is not that likely. I mean, we could never see it in our lifetime, or we could. But AGI is totally something not to fear, and it's something totally different. The thing to fear is, I think, job displacement and preparation. You know, if you're in a job that's susceptible to AGI, yeah, you should worry and take action from that worry and ask yourself, how do I become AI proof? So that's where, you know, you can step into what you should be doing and like take that fear and make it a weapon. That's what I've always believed. But going back to what Elon Musk is doing, you know, for him to represent AGI as something that it's not at all, and then to put a blanket date on it and then change that date around, somebody with his authority, his following, and his notoriety, and just the notice he gets from the mass population, he should be more careful with that, in my opinion.
Yep.
And he should be throwing around what could propel unnecessary fear from something that's not even true. All right, so it's where...
If my meta glasses just went completely crazy, it started playing music on its own, aka I touched it by accident.
Doc agrees. He's interrupting. You know, pointing out, I think if you look at what Mark Zuckerberg is doing, like he's brought Meta to a place where it's rivaling what Elon Musk is doing. So I think Elon Musk might feel threatened that he's not actually winning in the AI race. Here's Microsoft. Satya Nadella has been called one of the most visionary founders now of our time. Behind the Copilot integration into every computer, is Microsoft the best computer? That is up for debate. A debate I am not. It's Apple for me. Anyway, moving on. So there's some very visionary founders and tech leaders that are honestly kind of beating Elon Musk at this. And so I just think like a lot of this that we're seeing, the gigafactory of compute, the, you know, supercharging XAI into something that's going to require $6 billion, and just the building a supercomputer itself, like trying to beat Microsoft there, because Microsoft's doing the same thing. I really think he feels like he's losing, and he's kind of grasping at almost anything, even if it's not in the best interest of his company or the people that follow him. So
there's nothing that you said there that I didn't agree with.
That's what our podcast co-host, Joe.
But we're supposed to disagree with each other. It makes it more interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, really. I think that he really needs to come at it from a different perspective. And the thing about it, what we're experiencing right now, if you go on YouTube and you type in, I lost my job to AI, you're starting to see these videos pop up.
Yes.
And the thing about this is that the current AI technology we have right now, it's replacing like the lower 10% of workers.
Yeah.
It's like the low skill, like they weren't doing an excellent job. They were kind of slacking off their job. They weren't taking it seriously. They weren't improving overall. And so we're seeing those workers get replaced, unfortunately. And don't get me wrong, that is sad. It's sad that those workers getting replaced, but it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
With AGI, you look at the general population, and we're talking about billions at that point. We're not talking about millions, we're talking about billions of people. And that's where the real numbers become scary, is that AGI leap. It's like, yeah, this is as smart as like the lower 10% of the population, but AGI is equivalent to every single person.
Yeah.
And at that point, you really don't need anybody working on anything.
Yeah.
Now, there will still be a period of time where we transition into that, where we have tools being developed, where we have all these processes being developed to where it'll lag behind technology-wise, where it's going to like displace those jobs. That will happen. It'll be like, we start to see like, oh, this startup came and it replaced, 4 million jobs. This startup came on the scene and it's replaced 80 million jobs. And we'll see a lot of those startups, but I don't think it's going to be like a snap of the finger. You're going to wake up and it's like every job is gone. I don't think AGI is going to do that. If it was something that was sentient that could just build things and grow on its own, yes, that is absolutely the case. But I don't think that we're probably ever going to see that.
Yeah.
If an AI does become sentient, I will be the first one to be like, run for the hills.
And something you said is sparked another thought. When I was getting my tire repaired, I ended up having a very unexpectedly, I mean, this happens to me like 90% of the time now, very unexpectedly deep conversation with the person repairing the tire about machine sentience. Shout out to Caesar if he's listening. I know he and his friend listened to my YouTube channel already. So it's funny. These people were our builders in our house, and they followed me down and found me and helped me repair the car. Great people. So anyway, we had a conversation about AGI and how the complexity of humanity and how the flow of work and life goes is going to create some real hurdles for AI to overcome. It'll be interesting to see the timing of AGI with this. So for example, let's say, I'm stranded in my car. There's a humanoid and AI, and those are the things I can call on. Well, if I call it AI, give it my address, location, like all that, it's probably going to know better than a human. It's probably going to respond better. Whenever I called BMW roadside assistance, the answer was, well, I can only tow you to a BMW dealer, which is 25 miles this way, and I can't tow you 1 mile up the freaking street to discount tire. So I think AI is going to win over the human in situations like that. It'll actually get you better answers because it's programmed to know more and understand more. But where we're going to have hurdles is the translation across behavior, across reasoning to behavior. So behavior is that physical side, the humanoids. Reasoning is the replication of the human mind. So if I call AI and I tell it where I'm at and it knows my address, it's going to send a humanoid driving a vehicle or just an autonomous vehicle. But will that vehicle know, or the humanoid involved, how to handle a complex situation? Like the tire had a nail that was about 20 times larger than anyone expected. And as it was being pulled out, to repair the tire, you needed 3 times more of the tire plug that they went and bought from the hardware store down the street, and extra glue and this and that. And then the thing where you put air in the tire didn't work. So then I had to go get change for that. I didn't have enough cash. I had to go to an ATM machine, which was further down there. It's all these little complexities that occur. How will AGI handle it? It'll be interesting to see. I think the answer could be, it could just absorb the knowledge it needs to know and, instantly install that into like the autonomous vehicle. Like, what if a complex situation comes up? Are we still going to need a human? So I think that creates roadblocks. And I think the people that solve those roadblocks, how to actually have the AI ready for complex situations, that's where some huge breakthroughs are going to happen. So I'm really excited to see AI entrepreneurs solve for those complex situations and build on top of what we're seeing from OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Elon Musk, etc.
Absolutely. And kind of like what Sam Altman said, where he's like, we're going to see our first solopreneur company who's making over $1 billion. I'm trying to find this screenshot really quickly so I can...
They have a betting pool on that, don't they? Sam Altman and a bunch of other...
I believe so, yeah.
Tech founders.
Okay. So this right here, I saw this on LinkedIn. I can't wait for AGI to come out and for it to be like a moody teenager at certain points in time. I don't know if you guys know this, but during the wintertime, ChatGPT naturally gets slower, not because of like a lack of compute or a lack of resources, just because humans are naturally slower during those periods of time. And there was a point in time to where ChatGPT got moody to the point where it would tell you to do stuff yourself. It'd be like, hey, I want you to do X. I want you to write a LinkedIn post for me. It's like, let me give you everything that you need to create your own LinkedIn post. And you're like, no, I want you to do it for me. And it would say, nope, sorry, I can't. And I was like, what? What do you mean you can't? You just did this like a month ago. Why can't you do it now? And so this is one of the things I saw on LinkedIn is somebody was coding something and it says, the code you sent me is throwing an error. Can you try to fix it? And ChatGPT said, it works on my machine. And if it works on their machine, then obviously it's a user error. So that's one thing for us to look forward to with AGI is the moody teenager AGI being like, I could solve all of your problems, so I'm not going to.
Yes. Interesting. It'll be funny to see, I think, how the human handles that. Because I think the AI, like in that situation, will win because it's going to have, I mean, we saw it in GPT-4o's demonstration. There's a clip in that playlist they have on YouTube where a human just proceeds to badger the heck out of ChatGPT with, well, can you say it like this? Well, you didn't say it with enough enunciation. Well, can you say it slower? Well, now you said it too slow. Okay, well, now that's not fast enough. I kid you not, this person like did that to them 30 times over. And by the end of it, ChatGPT has this forced niceness that I would say terrified me more than the moody teenager. So what will AGI do?
She's going to start responding with everything with, ugh, I guess. If I have to.
If I have to.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to add to today's episode, Julia? I think we pretty much covered everything. Once again, before I let Julia say anything, you can find episode 21's notes inside of both the podcast notes as well as on YouTube in the description.
Yes, that was well said. We will end it there. See you on the next episode.
Bye, everybody.